Okay. So much again, yet hey. So yeah, I don't know. God's telling me to share this stuff. So if you're listening, great. If not, I'm getting it off my chest. So that's great too. And I feel like I'm doing something good. So fuck it. So I was just in the bathtub and I'm thinking and I'm doing stuff. And then I thought, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, like number one. And I didn't want to get out. And I hadn't washed my hair yet. So I just peed in the tub. And then I farted and it was ridiculous. And I don't know why I shared that with you. I guess I thought it was kind of funny. It was more funny in my head maybe, but I'm just going to post it anyways. I don't care. I did shower, like I drained the tub and then I showered, but yeah, it's kind of gross. Okay, anywho. This morning I was I attended online because it was snowing here, a Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall like discussion, and the first half was super interesting on integrity and whatnot. And I really like attending the Jehovah Witness Sunday classes because they actually like dive into scripture, which I think is pretty cool. And I don't necessarily, I don't know. It was interesting because the second half of it is like a Q&A, and I started dozing off and I was into meditation about some stuff. But then, boom, they asked a question, and then like people in the group get to answer, and it was like, God was like, ah. And so I just answered real quick, and it was talking about like what we get from the Bible, like reading the Bible or something. And my comment was, as I'm learning the Bible, a lot of stuff in the Bible, I'm remembering that the Bible was written back in a very different time than we're living right now, and not everything is, in my opinion, to be taken. I think people wrote it and they had opinions and stories, and they were jiving with the time. So I'm just gonna put that out there. But that's what I shared with the group. And surprisingly, like I got people messaging me like, oh, great comment, like thanks for sharing. It's like, all right, yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then another thing that hit me was about like, boom, another thought. That's how they come in now, like, boom, here's a thought that you might want to explore, think about, and then maybe share. Is there was someone I worked with a while ago, and instead of talking directly to them, I just let it frustrate me, like my frustrations with this person. And at one point my boss was new and asked me like feedback on this person, like specifically this person. And I'm not very good at lying. I don't like to lie. I did that for a period of my life, and it wasn't, to make anything easier. So I tried my best to avoid that. So I just told the truth about the person I was frustrated with. And I was like, man, that was kind of shitty. It's kind of like I sold my soul to the devil in that stance. Like I wish if I could go back, just going to talk to that person, sooner rather than later, just to share what I'm feeling in the nicest way and respectful way possible, maybe could have avoided. I don't even know if, anything went further after that with that person, but yeah, live and learn, right? But then I started thinking, okay, so when I got my first management position, generally speaking, it was great. And the people that were on the team that I was leading were great. There was one person who was very challenging, just had a different vision of, I guess, what my vision was, right? And this person also had like a serious attitude, and a lot of people saw that and had said stuff about it. And the attitude was also, I noticed, with myself. So as a new manager, not even supervising either, right? So I didn't like get that training. I just hopped right into manager seat. In fact, I just hopped right into like head of quality seat, right? Like, yeah, management rep, woo. But the way I went about it with her was not good. I yelled at her. I like literally yelled at her. I wish I could go back and change that. I really do wish I could go back and change how I handled that situation. I did apologize to her later. She never wrote back, and that's okay. I just wish her peace and pray for her peace, right? I did take that lesson though with the next management position job I had. There was someone else who was rather difficult. And this was it was a different scenario though. This person was actually really nice, and worked really well with others. And this was an instance where I struggled because I felt she was in a role that was higher than what her skills were. And I guess like I could just see how I had seen that in my career path, getting to that point when I looked at other people who I felt were in a seat that didn't fit their skill set. So I don't know if part of that was just my like, I don't know if it's anger, maybe resentment. Resentment probably is a good word for that. But instead of like handling it with anger, I took my lesson from that first experience, and this time I was able to talk in a much more calm way and tried to coach more than, be demanding. And, second manager role, not a lot of experience with like dealing with people who are challenging employees. And that, ultimately, I think it ended in what was best for the company way. But management is really hard when we're dealing with people and their emotions and people that aren't performing to the level that, is set out for that position. It really is hard to be in that management role, at least from my perspective. And so I guess this is a shout out to any manager that I'm friends with on Facebook, or any manager who wasn't my manager, but maybe is managing someone else. Like, shout out to you. Your job is not easy. It really is not an easy job. I've been really blessed to have a lot of awesome teammates though. And I just know we keep learning from our experiences, right? And we can take those things and turn them into a positive experience. And anger is something that definitely something I have been working on and am continuing to work on. And yeah, so that was my deep thoughts for today. Take it or leave it. See you later. Bye.